Hey, creative souls. As the new year approaches, I want to remind you of something important. You don't have to have everything figured out by January 1st. It's totally okay to not be ready yet. Today, we're diving into why that's perfectly fine and how you can still kick off the year with intention, even if things aren't perfectly planned. Hi, friends. I'm Jenna, your planning partner in crime. And in this episode, we're breaking down the myth of needing to be ready for the new year, embracing imperfection, and finding practical ways to start the year with less stress and more calm. So grab your planners, beverage of choice, get comfy, and let's chat about how to start the new year with ease, not running around like chickens with our heads cut off. As we approach the new year, society piles on the pressure, making us feel like we need to have our lives perfectly planned by January 1st. But let's be real, that's not only unrealistic, it's unnecessary. You've probably seen all those posts about the perfect morning routine for January 1st or how to crush your 2025 goals starting now. But here's the truth, there's no magical power in January 1st or the first of any month, or even Monday for that matter. It's just a day. Starting something meaningful doesn't have to follow a calendar timeline. So, where exactly does this pressure come from? Every year, as the new year looms, we're bombarded with marketing campaigns selling the perfect planner, the ultimate productivity system, and a million other must have tools to help us get ready for the new year. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you need all those things to succeed. But let's face it, none of these shiny new products will guarantee happiness or success. It's just the marketing machine at work trying to convince us that we need the right tools to start fresh. The consumer driven pressure often makes us feel like we're missing something essential, when in reality, it's all about creating a system that works for you, not what's trending or what everyone else is using. And it's not just about planners or productivity tools. Think about all those gym ads. Join now and save, get the latest app, and have a bikini body by summer. Yes, we're bombarded with this kind of messaging all year, but it's especially overwhelming around the holidays. Everyone seems obsessed with becoming the new and improved version of themselves. So here's your reminder, you do not have to change. You don't have to become a better you. But if there are things you want to work on, you can start anytime. You're not behind if you aren't ready to go on January 1st or any other arbitrary date. Start when it feels right for you. You can start now or in a few weeks when you've figured out your plan. We've all been there, scrolling through endless social media feeds, feeling like everyone else is so much more ready for the new year than we are. Their goals, resolutions, planners all look perfect. And it can make us feel like we're the only ones who haven't gotten it all together. But remember, what we're seeing on social media is just a snapshot. It's not the full picture, it's what they want you to see. Most people are just as messy behind the scenes as we are. The pressure to be ready often comes from comparison, and it's okay if you're not there yet. Yes, the algorithm loves shiny, perfect things, but the reality is no one's life is perfectly curated all the time. We all have our piles of dirty laundry hidden out of sight of that photo, just like everyone else. We all have to shove everything aside on our desk to film that perfect planner overhead shot. It's all an illusion. We can never live up to those perfectly curated feeds, and that's okay. Even I fall into this trap at times. I have been watching everyone's start of the year setups, and then I look over and see my stack of empty planners and notebooks. I was definitely not ready for January 1st, 2025. I may not even be all set up by the time this podcast goes live. But I remind myself it's not a race. No one else cares where I am in my plan. And it's okay to take your time and get everything how you want it. We have a cultural narrative around the new year, a fresh start, a clean slate. But that can be paralyzing, making us feel like we need to hit the ground running on January 1st, wiping everything from the past year away. The truth is, change doesn't happen just because it's a new year. It happens day by day whenever you're ready. The pressure to start fresh can feel like an overwhelming expectation. But remember, change happens in its own time. It's okay to take small steps and build momentum. Just think of the snowball method for paying off debt. You don't clear all your debt at once. You start small and slowly pay off one card, roll that money to the next one, and eventually, over time, your snowball builds and you're debt free. Not only does change take time, but it also requires energy. Society likes to remind us that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, or even Beyonce only has 24 hours in a day. But let's be honest, do we really? I know I don't have the same 24 hours every day. Some days I have tons of energy and I'm able to go, 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 go. And other days I come home from work and I crash on the couch after dinner. Comparing our lives to others is pointless, especially when we consider the support they might have that we don't. Yes, we all have 24 hours, but maybe your friend has a personal trainer who designs all their workouts for them so they don't have to think about that aspect. Maybe your friend has a nanny so they don't have to worry about childcare, but you do. Some days we can do all the things, and other days we can barely get through the basics. It's all part of the ebb and flow. The key is learning to work with what you have right now. So, as we move into this new year, it's important to remember it's okay to not have everything perfectly planned. It's okay to embrace the mess. And even more importantly, to give yourself permission to be flexible as you navigate what comes next. It's better to start messy than not start at all. To use the old adage, life isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Your planner doesn't have to be perfectly decorated every week. Your goals don't need to be fully fleshed out to be valid. For those of us with messy minds, hello, ADHD brain here, getting started is often the hardest part. But starting imperfectly beats waiting for perfection every single time. I know this firsthand. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I can't say I'm fully healed because sometimes perfectionism still likes to rear its ugly head. For example, when I recorded the trailer for this podcast, I did it so many times. And then I spent time working on the editing, re editing it, trying to make it perfect. But in the end, I accidentally uploaded the wrong one, flub and all. After wasting all that time and energy trying to get it just right, I just went with it because sometimes my content won't be perfect, and that's okay. Sometimes you have to show what's behind the curtain, as the Wizard of Oz would say. Society constantly tells us that we need to be perfect. Perfect planner pages, perfect body, perfect everything. But perfectionism is what often holds us back. It keeps us in a cycle of never feeling ready and makes us afraid to start. For those of us with ADHD, this cycle can feel even more relentless. We spend too much time trying to get things just right, only to burn out or feel frustrated when it's still not perfect. Instead of striving for perfection, what if we embrace the idea that starting messy creates momentum? Perfectionism often leads to inaction, but Progress comes from doing the thing, even imperfectly. I'm going to say that one more time because it's simple, but I think it's impactful. Progress comes from doing the thing, even imperfectly. A year from now, you won't remember placing a sticker wrong on your weekly spread or how you struggled with that difficult yoga pose. What will matter is that you started and grew along the way. Life, it doesn't always go according to plan, and that's okay. Flexibility is the secret ingredient to success, especially for those of us who struggle with rigid planning. One strategy that's helped me is having A, B, and C goals. I started using this system back in 2012 when I really started doing 5Ks and half marathons. C is going to be your most basic goal. Basically, just show up and do the thing. B goal, that's a little bit more realistic. It feels a little more achievable, even if things don't go perfectly. Like with running, let's say I'm having a bad asthma day. I might be slower than I had hoped to be. And then the A goal is your big goal, the thing you really want, but have to push yourself to achieve. In racing, that's usually going for a PR, a personal record, or a personal best. This approach isn't just for racing, it applies to almost any goal, whether it's fitness, self improvement, or life in general. Being flexible helps us adapt when plans change and keep us moving forward instead of getting stuck. Now, let's talk about how we can actually implement this flexibility in our planning. Starting the new year can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to. Here's how you can maybe ease into your goals without chasing perfection. Start small. Your planner doesn't need to be perfect. Your goals don't need to be elaborate right away. Pick one thing to focus on this month and build from there. Small steps add up. For example, if your goal is to run a marathon, but you're not sure where to start, begin with a 30-minute walk. Maybe you're already walking. Add short running intervals. Run to the next street lamp, walk to the next one, and then repeat that process. And yes, I will often use running as an example because that's what's easy for me. I was a certified running coach after all. Let's say you're not ready to dive into your planner or bullet journal just yet. That's not a problem. Grab a sticky note, a random notebook, or maybe even your phone and jot down your intentions now. The tools you use don't need to be perfect, they just need to work for you. I will often grab an old, partially used notebook to brainstorm goals, podcast ideas, videos, whatever I need, because it's freeing to be messy. I can cross things off, scribble in the margins, and if I don't like what I've written, I can just turn the page and start all over again. I get started knowing that I can always move that into my planner or my bullet journal once I've got it a little more solidified. Lastly, we're going to schedule check ins. Instead of stressing about having everything ready on January 1st, set a check in date for mid January or maybe even early February. Use this time to review your goals, set up your planner, or determine your intentions. Your needs and priorities, they might shift over time, so starting the year with flexibility helps to get you in the right mindset. This is what I'm doing right now. I've outlined most of my goals, but haven't fully set up my journals yet. I'm taking my time, starting with my goals and moving to the next one when I'm feeling ready. The goal isn't perfection, it's creating a system I'll actually use and enjoy. By starting small, embracing temporary solutions, and allowing for flexibility, you can set yourself up for success without unnecessary stress. Progress is the goal, not perfection. There's no rush. After all, we have an entire year to grow and accomplish our goals. So, creative souls, as we step into 2025, let's leave behind the pressure to be ready by some arbitrary date. Progress isn't about a perfect start. It's about taking consistent steps, no matter how small or messy. Take your time, give yourself grace, and remember your magical life unfolds one day at a time. If this episode resonated with you, my planners in crime, please share it with a friend who might need a reminder to slow down and embrace the process. And if you're easing into the year, I'd love to hear about it. Tag me on Instagram in your messy prep or join us in the Runs on Espresso Discord or Runs on Planning Facebook group. I will leave those links in the show notes. And that's everything for today, my friends. Thank you for tuning in and embracing the mess with me. Until next time, remember your progress is magical, even in its messiest form. Keep shining, and I'll catch you in the next episode.